So, why is selecting the right journal so important? Well, it results in successful publications. If you do not target the right journal, you can spend a lot of time uh, submitting to the wrong journals. Maybe there's a mismatch with the aims and scopes, and they typically get rejected, and you have to submit to several journals before you get a publication. That like to avoid that. Actually, in the first 10 years of my career, I never got a paper rejected. I always had it accepted on the first try. And I think I was doing a very good job selecting the right journal, not too high of an impact factor and not too low of an impact factor. But that's not the only uh, metric that you should be looking at. So when a manuscript is submitted to a journal, it undergoes a detailed screening. I'm responsible for uh, screening most of the manuscripts that are submitted to Integrative Zoology. So we check to see if there's conformity to the editorial guidelines. We check the appropriateness of the topic, make sure it matches the journal's aims and scope. And then we always have ask ourselves a question, whether the manuscript is appropriate for the journal's readership. And we also do the screening of the content as well. The first thing I read is the cover letter. The cover letter should introduce the manuscript, give some background, explain what the novelty of the study is, and also the significance of the study and why uh, the paper should be of interest to the readership of the journal. And then I'll read the abstract and then go to the results and check to see if the manuscript meets the minimum standards for quality, and is the writing good enough to make it worth reviewing. And of course, the most important question, does the manuscript fit the journal's aims and scope and be of interest to the readership? And every journal has a long list of instructions to the authors, so we check to see if the manuscript complies with that. But there is a trend for format neutrality. For example, the Nature family of journals. Um, you can submit a very neutrally formatted manuscript, and if it's rejected, you don't have to reformat it to submit it to a new journal. So keep in mind, some publishers are using a very neutral format. So why should we care about ethics in research? This is another thing that we look at in all the manuscripts. You have a duty to yourself. So achieving the goals of successful publications requires integrity and adherence to professional standards, both in uh, the ethics of the research, but also the ethics of publishing as well. So common reasons for manuscript rejection. The most common reason is outside the journal scope. You may have submitted to too high of an impact factor journal that have rejection rates that are very, very high. Um, and you may have not followed the instructions. You can get rejected for lack of originality or novelty. Most journals are looking for original research to publish. There's only two journals that I know that do not care about novelty, and that is Scientific Reports and PLOS ONE. Those two journals, so long as you follow the scientific method and there's enough detail in your methods that the experiment can be repeated by someone by just reading your methods, then the paper should be able to be published in those journals. Other common reasons for rejection is lack of significance, flaws in the study design, or if there's ethical problems detected, or overall poor writing and organization.